When done correctly, email marketing can 6x your business. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. This is what a typical sales funnel looks like. So on the far left-hand side, you have content. These are going to be YouTube videos, Instagram videos, ads, SEO, any way that you're generating eyeballs or traffic. Then about 5% of the people that see your content will become leads. And I'm going to go more in depth about how you capture these leads, name, email, phone number later on. But this is when someone's going to give you their information in exchange typically for something else. So this could be a lead magnet, could be a Google Sheet, could be a document, something along those lines. 10% of those people are going to end up booking a call to speak with you about your services. And this is where you're going to pitch them on what you sell. And about 20% of the people that you speak to are going to turn into clients paying you money. That means that if 1,000 people see your ad, your YouTube video, your piece of content, then about one new client is going to come out of it. So this is decent. These are okay numbers. But like I said, email marketing is incredibly powerful because it will 6x these numbers. Let me show you an example here. So first and foremost, once you start building an email list, you can actually get more people to look at your content than you ever would before. So if you had a YouTube video and typically 1,000 people saw it, but let's say you had a 10,000 person email list, you might be able to get 2,000 people to see it at that point. So it's actually going to increase the amount of people seeing your content in the first place. Another way that you can use email marketing to increase your business is turning more leads into calls. So this could be actually nurturing your email list on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. I'm going to break down more in depth the kind of the cadences and some example emails that I'm doing, but you could be sending emails saying, hey, here are some case studies, here are some testimonials, here's just a reminder, you need to book a call to speak with our team, whatever else it is, and you could easily double the amount of people that are going from leads to calls just by consistently staying top of mind by sending them emails. And then finally, after people book a call, you can actually increase the amount of closed deals that you have from 20% to 30% of the people you speak with using email marketing as well. We have a nurture sequence after somebody books, which means that they are speaking to the sales rep soon, or they just spoke to the sales rep, that is kind of feeding them what we call bottom of funnel content. So this is, they already know the price of what we're selling, and they haven't moved forward for one of a few different reasons. So I'm creating pieces of content that are like objection handlers, and I'm comparing the investment with us to investments into other things, and we're sending this as a long drip sequence that's going out to them over time, and eventually those people are going to turn around, they're going to come back, and they're going to buy your services, right? So that means that with email marketing, you can get 2,000 people to see it instead of 1,000, and you can get 6 clients out of it instead of 1. So that is the power of email marketing when done correctly. Now, the first thing that you have to ask yourself is, okay, this is all great, but who do I even send these emails to in the first place, right? Do I just buy list online? The answer is no. You want to do what is called building a list, okay? You can actually get in a lot of trouble with email providers and even with the government, depending on what country you're in, if you just buy lists and send emails to them, right? So you want to build a list. And the easiest way to build a list is by posting content and asking people to become leads. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a moment. And so about 5% of people that see your content will turn into leads. So what does that look like? Well, here are a few different examples. The first is going to be on YouTube, right? That's a really bullish area that I like to post a lot of content, and that we generate 50% of our organic sales come from YouTube. So I'm going to give you an example right here. There's a video I did that said how we doubled our profitability by tracking our finances. And in that video, I actually walked through my financial tracker sheets. And this is a sheet that I created to help me make sure that month over month, we're maintaining the profitability I want to create, or I want to maintain. And then in that video, I say, hey, if you want to get access to this exact same Google Sheet that we've used to keep our profitability up, then go in the description down below. That then takes them to an opt-in page in which they can enter in their name, email, phone number, and I send over the template that they just requested. So for no cost to me, I'm just posting the YouTube video and I'm putting it up there. I'm giving people what they want, this content, and in exchange, they're giving me their name, email, and phone number, right? So that's a really great way to generate leads. Another example that we do is using a software called ManyChat on Instagram. So ManyChat is an automation software, and it essentially allows you to enter people into kind of a flow, an automation, after they comment something on your post. And that way you can say, hey, do you want this cool thing that I have over here? Well, comment this thing and I'll send it over your way. So it's the exact same concept that I talked about before. So in this example here, I did a video on how to generate over 350 leads a day without spending any money on ads. And I'm talking about this exact idea that you can create organic content, post it, and ask them for their emails. And then I say, if you want to get access to this workflow on ManyChat, then you can comment flow down below and I'll send it over your way. And so they comment down flow, and that starts an automation where I say, great, where should I send this flow to? And I capture their email. So I have emails coming in every single day from these YouTube videos I'm posting. I have emails coming in every single day from these Instagram reels that I'm posting. And I have emails coming in every single day from the ads that we're running. So we also run a considerable amount of ads, right? I spend millions of dollars a year on ads. And so this is another example of me running an ad, and I'm calling out my target avatar, online business owners, and I say, hey, do you want to know how we're essentially scaling our business? Well, then check out this free training. That goes to another opt-in page where I am collecting their information once again. So this is just 3 out of multiple different ways that you can generate leads, aka build an email list that you can then use to start marketing your products and services and to actually 6x your revenue, like I discussed a little bit earlier. Now, a very key component about building your list, about creating these lead magnets, about capturing people's emails, is that the higher the relevancy, the higher the conversions. I can't stress this enough, okay? What I'm talking about here is that if I create a video on how, let's say, this financial tracker doubled my profitability, and in the video I said, and if you want this free, I don't know, Etsy store guide, then click the link in the description down below. I'm not going to have a lot of people click the link in the description down below because I'm talking about this one thing over here, doubling profitability, but over here I'm talking about Etsy. That doesn't make any sense. So you want to have as much relevancy with the lead magnet as possible, and that's how you increase your conversions, aka you get more emails. So let me give you a prime example of that right now. If you want to get access to over 100 of our best converting emails, you can go below in the description right now and download our 77-page email swipe file. People actually typically pay for this thing, and you're going to get it totally for free by going down in the description below and clicking the button, getting our 77-page email swipe file, which is over 100 of our best emails that we've ever sent. So that's an example of a highly relevant lead magnet that I just created. So you came to this video looking to learn how to create an email campaign, how to start email marketing, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm saying, hey, we've generated $25 million in sales, and these are all of the best emails that we've ever done. You can get access to it down below. So that's highly relevant. So there's going to be a good bit of you that likely goes down there and gets it for yourself, hopefully. Now that we understand how to build an email list and how emails can actually increase your revenue in your business, let's break down the different types of emails. So there's 2 main types of emails you can do when you're doing email marketing. The first is campaigns, and the second is automation. So I'm going to break down campaigns first. Campaigns, you're typically going to send 3 to 5 times a week. If you have a very large list, you could send it 7 to 8 times a week like we do. But we typically find every other day is a great way that you can send people emails without kind of bothering them. And these emails are called ad hoc, meaning that it's not like you have this preset agenda of, okay, I'm going to send all these emails and they're going to say all these things. It's kind of like, at least for me, when I was first doing my email campaigns, I just made sure every day I woke up and I wrote one email. It was really whatever I was feeling at the time, whatever was trending in my industry right now, I would kind of craft an email around it, and then I would send it to my list with a call to action to book a call to speak with me. It's almost like creating a YouTube video or creating an Instagram reel. It's the exact same concept. It's like, okay, I think people are going to get value out of consuming this content. Let me just type it up this one time and let me blast it out to everybody. And you're going to typically be sending this to your entire list, okay? So this is not going to be segmented, which I'm going to talk about segmentations here in a moment. This is typically going to be to every single person that's ever been given you their name, email, phone number, and you're going to try to capture as many of those people into calls as possible. Now, let me walk through what an example of an email campaign looks like. So this is one that we just sent a few days ago. It says, hey there, I'm looking for businesses that are running ads on Meta to a VSL or webinar funnel and want a better return on ad spend. This only works for offers priced at least $2,000 and sold over a sales call. If that's you, my company will install the self-sustaining funnel in your business and promise 5 key results. And then I walk through the 5 key results that we promise, and you have to do that all without having to pay agency fees. And then if I say, if that sounds interesting, check out this one pager, which is where I send them to book a call to speak with us. So this is just an email that my marketing director woke up, wrote out, and sent to our entire list. And as you can imagine, this got a considerable amount of booked calls going out there. And the funny thing is, everybody that's on this list has already heard me make an offer, maybe even 40, 50, 60 times, right? But there was something that clicked today when they woke up. Maybe they woke up and it was the renewal for their agency that they've been paying for 3 months and they never seen results. Or they woke up, they look at their calendar and they saw that they still don't have anything on their calendar. Or maybe they were checking out their ads manager and they saw that they were getting way too high cost per calls. And so right in that moment, in that pain moment right there, they get the email campaign from me saying, hey, we can help you do this and we do all these things for you, et cetera, et cetera. And boom, that's what leads people to book a call. And if you have a large enough email list, then there's a lot of people that are right there in that pain points. Now, the next type of email marketing that you can send is called automations. And this is typically when you're sending email after somebody does something. So there's a saying in like the automation software world called if this, then that, ITTT. And it means that if this happens, then this other thing will happen. So if somebody opts into my financial sheet guide, then we should send them this message. If somebody opts into my 77-page email swipe file down below this video, then we're going to send them an email with access to that right there. It's typically hyper relevant, right? So you compare that to the campaigns where you're sending it to the entire list and you're just saying, hey, work with me, right? On automation, you're typically saying, you just did this thing, so here's this next thing that you need, right? So for example, if I'm using this 77-page email swipe file, I might say, hey, you just got this 77-page email swipe file. Email marketing is just one small part of a holistic marketing system. If you want to learn how to build your own marketing system that covers email and ads, et cetera, then go to watch this video here, or check out this sales page here, or book a call to speak with us here, right? So I already know they just did this thing, so I'm sending them to the next thing. That's why it's hyper relevant, and it's typically very segmented. So you're not blasting to the entire list, you're blasting to just the people that have just done this one action here. And to show you an example of an automation email that we run and we set up for all of our clients, I highly suggest every single person watching this video sets this up. It's called the new subscriber sequence. And what this is 4 emails that anytime somebody becomes a new email subscriber from any lead magnet, whether it's ads, it's Instagram, it's YouTube, whatever the asset was that they downloaded, they all go through the same multiple day email sequence where I'm warming them up to who I am. I'm telling them, hey, this is Ravi Abuvala, this is my company Scaling with Systems, these are some case studies, these are the types of content you can expect to find. I tell them we typically send 3 to 5 emails a week. I'm like pretty much prepping them. I'm becoming friends with them in this email sequence. And what we found is by doing that, you're going to have way less unsubscribes, and it's going to just be another opportunity for you to build trust and brand awareness with this person totally for free, right? So instead of them just opting in and then the next day they're getting an email saying, work with us from your email campaign, this way you're kind of nurturing them and easing them in at the same time they're consuming your content on YouTube, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. And you can see this is an automation here. So anytime somebody becomes a marketing contact, then we add them to our master list for email campaigns. We wait for 15 minutes and then we send them the first email, which is our welcome email. And you can see it says for the new subscriber sequence. And this is what this looks like here. So I say, greetings, Scaler, Ravi from Scaling with Systems. I wanted to pop in and thank you for joining our newsletter. This is why you joined. You either downloaded a product or training or joined our newsletter directly. This is a #1 newsletter for coaches, consultants, agencies, and online service providers looking to scale their business. And then I even give them some assets of some additional things that they can check out, right? Like I said, it's hyper relevant. So it's like, hey, you just joined the newsletter, so you probably might like these other things that we have as well. And I say you're going to get about 5 emails from us every single week, right? So that's a beautiful example of a new subscriber sequence. And if you're a client of ours, we write this for you so that you don't have to worry about that. Now, Let's move forward to the next aspect here. So at this point, you know the importance of emails. You also know how to build an email list, and you know the two different types of emails. Now we need to talk about segmentation. And segmentation is what can take a decent email campaign and put it on steroids. It can seriously get you a higher return. And that's because a big mistake that people make when they're starting to email is they email the entire list for every single time they're emailing. And that's fine. You can, like I said, as a beginner, that's a great place to start. You probably don't have enough emails that it even matters to segment. But as you start to get in the thousands and tens of thousands, and even where we're at, in the hundreds of thousands of emails on your email list, it makes sense to start segmenting those emails, because some people may be people that just open an email once every few months. And if you hit them with an email every day, they may unsubscribe. Other people may be people that just like to get emails whenever you send YouTube videos, right? And so you can kind of create these segments so you can increase your open rates and decrease your unsubscribe rates, and that way you're maintaining a really healthy list. So this is just an illustration of what segmentation looks like, but at the top, this box here, you have your whole email list. So let's just say, for example, that this is 100,000 people on your email list, which I know would be amazing if you had 100,000 people, but you get the idea. Now, when you're doing just an email campaign, if you're seeing really low open rates, you may consider starting a 7-day open email segmentation. So this means that you're only sending emails to people who have opened another email from you, whether an automation or a campaign, in the last 7 days. And so this may only be 10% of your entire list. And so you're only sending it to 10,000 people. But what I've typically seen is you could see 3 times the open rate and more than 3 times the click-through rate when you're sending to people that are already engaging with you. It also helps your email deliverability, because you're not going to go into spam if you're sending an email list, an email blast to 100,000 people, and only, let's say, 10% of people are opening them, 10,000 people, but 90,000 people are not opening any of your emails. That's going to start letting the email deliverability, the email service, know, hey, you might be spamming people and we should move you into spam. So it's important as you're scaling to put these segmentations so that not only do you get higher open rates and higher click-through rates, but also you increase your chance of staying in the primary inbox versus landing in the dreaded spam folder. The next is going to be, next example of a segmentation is going to be follow-ups. So this is another great example of hyper-segmenting your list and only sending these people relevant offers. So follow-ups would be somebody that has already spoken to your sales team. They've already heard your price. You've already made an offer to them. So you're probably not going to send them the same emails that you're sending your 7-day open sequence here. If somebody already booked a call to speak with us, and I'm sending them an email that says, hey, book a call, book a call, book a call. You know, I bet you don't know how great we are, book a call. The people that are on the follow-up list may actually get annoyed, right? So instead what we're going to do is send them hyper-relevant emails. So maybe for their follow-up list, I may be sending them emails and I might say, hey, you've already spoken with someone on our team, but you haven't pulled the trigger. Here's this special offer or promotion that we might be doing this month for you. These are called re-offers, and we do them every probably 6 months to a year, but we'll say, hey, we're doing this insane thing where you're going to get access to one of our events, et cetera, et cetera. So these are for people that have been on the list for a while, maybe 4, 5, 6 months, and it's just the final thing they need to kind of move them over the line. And you're not going to want to blast that to your entire list, because you don't want to offer a special offer to everybody, or it's not that special and it's going to probably cost you a lot of money. But that's another great example of email segmentation. And there are also clients. So you can segment current clients inside of these as well, or past clients as well. And this is where you could send emails asking for satisfaction surveys. You could send emails letting them know updates in your product or service. You could send them emails letting them know that you are now offering a new product or service, and that because they're current clients, they get a discount from it as well. So in the follow-up thing, if you have 100,000 people, there may only be 1,000 people in follow-up, and you may only have 100 clients. But by segmenting these things out like this, you're able to get much more out of your emails, okay? Now, the question that I'm probably going to get and that you're thinking of right now is, which email provider do I use? You know, there's multiple out there. There's probably hundreds at this point. How do I know which one to use? Which ones are the best? Well, I can only speak on the ones that I have personally used, and I think they all have pros and cons. So I'm going to start with one of the most popular ones that I've used, and that's called ActiveCampaign. This is a really great email provider, in my opinion, if you just want to silo out email sending, meaning that you already have a CRM, you already have a landing page software, and you just want a software just to send emails to people, whether they're campaigns or automations. I used ActiveCampaign for 4 years, and in my opinion, it had one of the best deliverability rates and open rates than any other email provider out there. On the right-hand side here, you have Beehive. This is really great if you are specifically doing emails as a newsletter, right? So not all emails are newsletters. I'd say that the people watching this video, less than 10% of you are going to have a newsletter, because newsletters are a lot of work. That being said, I do think if you have a newsletter or thinking of starting a newsletter, I would just start on Beehive, because they have it. It's like, it is an email platform for newsletter creators. I created a newsletter on there, and they have really great growing tools inside of there and analytics, but I would never, ever, ever put my entire list that I'm trying to do marketing and sales and all that stuff for inside Beehive, okay? The third thing is going to be Go High Level. So we've used Go High Level. We have hundreds of our clients on Go High Level as well. And Go High Level is similar to HubSpot, which I'll cover in a second, in the sense that it's an all-in-one. The reason I like all-in-ones is that, for example, if you don't already have a CRM, and maybe you're using Google Sheets or your notes or whatever, it is nice to have an all-in-one solution where you can see exactly what each lead is doing. Because I don't want to get too advanced here, but imagine if you could see, hey, this person opted in and they've opened or clicked on the last 7 out of 7 emails, but they have not booked a call yet. Well, that would be a really great example to get somebody like an appointment setter, or even you, to pick up the phone and call that person and say, hey, is there something on the page that's preventing you from booking calls? Is there no times available? Right? The only way you'd be able to do that and have it be really seamless is if you had an all-in-one solution. So Go High Level is a great example of that. And then there's HubSpot, which is obviously an incredibly popular one. And full transparency, HubSpot is what we use now. Also in full transparency, unfortunately, when we went from ActiveCampaign to HubSpot, we went from a 35% open rate to a 12% open rate on our entire list. Nothing else changing other than we switched the providers. We got a personal or a private IP from HubSpot. It's been months now, and it really still hasn't changed that much. So, I'm sorry if you're a HubSpot lover. I still am using it because I think that the all-in-one solution and the data and the tracking outweighs that. But I can tell you, I know a lot of people that switch to HubSpot and then actually keep their emails inside of ActiveCampaign for that exact reason. This video is not going to go in depth on how to set up each one of those. I have different individual videos depending on which one you choose on my channel, so you can go through and see how to set it up on Go High Level, how to set up on ActiveCampaign, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The final few pieces here I want to cover is let's actually break down how do you write an email to begin with, right? So you know that how to build a list, you know how to segment your emails, you know the different types of email campaigns that they are, you know which kind of software you might be using or have an idea. Let's start writing some emails. So I'm going to break down 2 different email campaigns for you. So this first one I already talked about a little bit earlier, but I'm going to kind of go in depth here. So we call this a direct offer campaign. I'm just saying, hey, if you're this person, then you should work with us. So at the top, you can see I say, hey there. Now this is pulled directly from our CRM. What we have is a specific, it's called personalized tag, so that if this goes to somebody and we don't have their first name on file, it'll just say, hey there. However, if it does have their first name, then it'll say their first name instead. So if this was being sent to me, it would say, hey, Ravi. Personalization is an incredibly important way, an easy way to increase the response rate and click-through rate of your emails. Someone's always going to feel like they should respond back or click more if it feels like it was written for them versus feel like it was written for everybody else. I say I'm looking for businesses that are already running ads on Meta or a VSL, on Meta, on Facebook, to a VSL or a webinar, and want a better return on ad spend. So this is very similar to how I write my ads, in the sense that immediately I'm making a big call out to who this email's for. This is important because if I'm sending this email to, let's say, 200,000 people, there's a lot of people on my list that don't already run ads, and so maybe this offer might not be the best thing for them. And so this one is specifically for people that are already running ads. And I said this also only works for offers priced at least at $2,000 and sold over a sales call. So another qualifier I'm putting in my email. So this is like a little mini ad or a mini video sales letter. If that's you, my company will install the self-sustaining funnel in your business and promise 5 key results. So I say install the self-sustaining funnel with a hyperlink. I love putting 1 or 2 hyperlinks inside of my emails because it's a really great way to get somebody from your email to a different asset that you have where they can consume more content from you. And then I write down 5 things that we do for our clients. We write their ad copy in VSLs, we edit them, we set up and launch our campaigns, we listen to their calls and give them feedback, et cetera, et cetera. And what you'll notice is I use little emojis inside of here. So I don't use bullets, I use emojis. And these are all very little ways that I'm capturing people's attention, and I'm also making it seem like I personally wrote this email to them. After all that's done, we'll train you to manage the system so you don't have to pay agencies or hefty retainers. Plus, if you have an existing YouTube channel, we'll give you the exact systems we use to turn our channel into a profit center. If this sounds interesting, check this one pager out containing our offer and track record. So this is what's called the call to action right here at the bottom. And this is where I'm saying like, hey, this is what you should do if you like this and you want to work with us. And everything else in here is kind of called the body. And this is where I'm essentially giving them the information that they want or that they're interested in learning a little bit more about our product service. And you can see I have my sign off right here, my signature, which is super, super simple. I almost always put, you can probably can't see it here, but I almost always put like a specialized sign off, like Better ROAS or the Lead Gen King or something like that in there. Once again, it's like a little bit of level of personalization, and it makes the email a little bit more fun. A few final pieces on this specific email. Actually, two very important ones. The first is, notice I don't have any images. I don't have any, like, it's not set up so where I have like margins in between it where it looks like a newsletter. It literally looks like I could have typed this out on my phone and sent it out to you. The only thing that doesn't look like I typed this on my phone is the signature I have at the bottom, but that's okay because I just see it as another form of branding for me. They're just seeing my face one more time, so when they see it on Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn, they recognize that one-to-one immediately in their brain. But other than that, it looks like I could type this entire thing from my phone, right? That's incredibly important. We actually saw a 2x increase in click-through rate when we made it like this versus when we added a bunch of images and a bunch of different links, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a huge recommendation when you're writing your emails. It's actually maybe even more important than what's in it is how you're structuring it. The second important thing here is you'll notice that there is a line break in literally almost every single sentence inside of here, right? So people, when they read, they skim. And if there's huge blocks of text, it makes it very difficult for somebody to read the content that you have. So if you look at some of the best converting LinkedIn posts, Instagram posts, Twitter posts, they all have single sentence paragraphs, and emails are no different because that's so easy for somebody to read. It's easy on the eyes with all of that white space that is in the email. So you want to write all of your emails the exact same way. And then the last email I want to walk through here is a case study email. So the first one that I just gave you was a direct response email. This is when I'm trying to get somebody to book a call to speak with us. And then the case study email, that might be one for somebody who's been on the list for a while. I'm going to blast it to my entire list, and I'm just saying, hey, just a reminder, we're the best in the world at doing this. And so if you want to get this done, here's some proof. It's almost like an objection handler for somebody being like, oh, I don't know if this will work for me. Well, if they see a case study, they may have more confidence that it'll work for them. So it says, what's up, Scaler? Same thing. It says Scaler in this one, but if it was a personalized tag, it'll say their first name. Something pretty cool happens. We helped a trading coach grow his business from 5K to 45K a month in 120 days. Boom. Direct value proposition right there at the very top of the email. They don't even have to read any further. Plus, we also helped him with increasing his price point from 1K to 4K, increasing his close rate from 10% to 40%, and adding $100,000 cash collected to his business. And I said, I know it's easy to make this up or post a screenshot of a client and inflate his story. So I interviewed our client and had him tell you his exact experience of him working with us. And then I link the video case study that I did with this client. And so this email does a few things. First and foremost, even if they don't click on that email, just by reading this and having the link to click, it acts as a case study or testimonial in and of itself. I'm saying all the things that we did for them, and I'm saying that their business grew from 5K a month to 45K a month in 120 days, and they haven't even clicked on the case study yet. So that's another really great thing that I like to add a little bit of context in my emails if I'm trying to send them elsewhere. That way, even if all they do is read the email and don't click, I'm still getting that brand awareness. I'm still getting a lot of that messaging that I wanted them to get in the first place. And then I'll link the thing, the off-site asset to them, like in this example, a case study. And then in every email, and I'm talking about every email I ever send, I always have a call to action. I always say, hey, also, if you want to, you can book a call to speak with us. And there are people that will read this email, they won't even click on the case study, and they'll just go ahead and book a call to speak with us and become a client of ours, right? So that's why it's nice, no matter if you're sending an email that's sending them to a new YouTube video or you're sending an email that's to a case study, you always want to have a call to action at the end of it, because this is just an example of what I talked about earlier on the email campaigns, where something may be going on in their life and they've gotten 10, 15 emails from you. They've watched a few YouTube videos. They've seen your ads. They've seen your reels. And then boom, something happens. They happen to be in their email inbox and you can hit them right then and there, right? And so then they're going to book a call and speak with us, okay? The final thing I want to tell you is, or introduce you to, is a concept called the water cooler effect. And I would argue that out of the most important things in your email, the subject line is definitely going to be in the top 3. And somebody introduced this concept called the water cooler effect to me a few years ago. And the idea behind it is that when someone enters, they're checking their email, what happens is they enter their email inbox and they just scan their emails, right? They just look down their emails and see, is there anything here I should open, right? I do the exact same thing. And the water cooler effect is when you are working in an office, like a 9 to 5, and somebody says something and you walk by and you hear somebody says, and after those 3 shots of tequila, I was on the table dancing naked, right? And you kept on walking. If you heard that and you walked by, you're going to be like, what did that guy just say? Did you say he took 3 shots of tequila and he's on the table? You're going to turn around, you're going to come back, and you're going to see what the rest of that story is. That is the water cooler effect, and that's what you want your email subject lines to be. You want there to be so much curiosity and interest that when they're scanning their emails, it would be impossible for them not to click on that email. Exact same thing if you create content and you are on YouTube and you're creating your titles and thumbnails. Everybody talks about the title and thumbnail should be 90% of the work, right? David Ogilvy, the godfather of advertising, says that once you have the headline of your sales page down, you've done 95% of the work, right? So it's this first few seconds right here, it's everything. And the subject line is the exact same thing. So you want to create a water cooler effect. And one of the ways that I like to create a water cooler effect in emails is I will write a subject line that is preposterous. It's insane. It's crazy. You wouldn't even imagine how it relates over to the actual email itself. But then you somehow combine it over there. So you're somehow able to make it so that whatever you said in the subject line is in the email. So I'll give you an example. One of the best subject lines I've ever created was like, Disney princesses, a boat, and my new plane. And I was able to connect that in the subject line over into a few words that I said inside the body of the copy, and then I went to the actual call to action itself. So by doing that, I was saying this insane thing that they're like, what, Disney princesses, boat, and your new plane, what does that have to do? So they click on it, and then you do want to deliver that, so I am connecting over it somehow. I forgot how I did it. It was like, I talked about how my cousin was in town and her favorite thing was Disney princesses, and I was able to spend time with her because of my business so systemized, and like I connected it all together, and then I made a call to action at the very bottom of it, right? And so that is the water cooler effect. And think about that every time you're creating emails and you're writing your subject line. How do I pique somebody's interest whenever they are scanning their email inbox? So with that being said, that's your full email course end to end. If you want to get access to my 77-page email swipe file, over 100 of our best emails I've ever written that people typically pay for, you can go down to the link in the description down below and get access to that immediately for free. And if you want to, there's also some additional videos that I have on specifically setting up these emails, the technical setup inside of the email platforms. See you guys soon.